Hey there, it's me, Nate, and today I want to talk to you guys about Scythe by Neal Shusterman. Now, this is the first book in his Arc of the Scythe series. This is actually a reread for me. I read this closer to when it came out, because this came out back in 2016. I either read it that year or maybe, closer to the next couple years after that, because I think I read Scythe and I read the second book, Thunderhead, pretty soon after. But anyways, so I've read all three books. I've read Scythe, Thunderhead, and The Toll. Those are the main three books of the trilogy. And then he released a fourth book called Gleanings, which is a bunch of short stories set in the world of the series. I haven't read that. And while looking up a few details for this review, I found out that he's coming out with a prequel series, and the first book of that is coming out here in the beginning of December. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm gonna try to get through all the books of Scythe this year, and then be able to do a review for his new book in December, like at launch. So I think that'll be a good time. But back to the point, Scythe. This is the first book of Arc of the Scythe, and it's a YA series. It's kind of like a YA sci-fi dystopian series, and you could also look at it as a utopian series, depending on your perspective. So, the Arc of the Scythe series, it takes place on Earth, on our Earth, in the future, and it's not very specific about what year it is. We know it's like hundreds of years after the year 2042, because in the year 2042 humanity has basically developed immortality. They have created like a nanite and kind of like revival system where nobody has to die. People are still being born, and the population increases, but nobody has to die anymore. So like say, for example, if there's a robbery and somebody gets shot and killed, these ambulance drones will come pick up the person that was killed, take them to a revival center, and then bring them back to life. And the only method by which a person can be killed and not be brought back to life is if they're death by fire, because I guess the complete incineration of a body is impossible for the machines to perfectly revive them. And so, once like they have developed like this kind of like immortality, at the same time that this is happening, in 2040, like in the 2040 or 2042, humanity has also developed like the perfect AI, which is called the Thunderhead. It is kind of like this advanced AI cloud system that is like all over the world, and humanity has decided basically to give up all their power. So all the governments, all like politicians and stuff like this, kind of all fall away before the Thunderhead, and the Thunderhead basically rules the world and makes all the decisions. And this isn't the story like Terminator, where like Skynet takes over and like is killing all the humans. The Thunderhead likes humanity and protects humanity, and tries to have his best interest in heart. And so now, like, this book takes place like hundreds of, at least like, I think at least 3 centuries after that initial point. And sorry. And so in order to curb the nonstop growing population, because people aren't dying naturally anymore, there needs to be a kind of a force that can still kind of practice and like inflict death on people. And so the founders kind of at the time created this system, this group of people called the Scythedom. And the Scythedom is basically people who are trained and then charged with gleaning people because they don't call it killing people or murdering people. They call it gleaning, because, or they basically go through and glean people in order to like curb the population growth. And so the Scythes, they do not have access to the Thunderhead, because the Scythes are basically an independent body from the Thunderhead. Like, any action that the Scythe takes, the Thunderhead cannot interfere with, because they're seen as like the last kind of like independent human body, because the Scythedom was made with the idea that death and inflicting death upon another person should only be controlled and managed by other human beings. So once you become a Scythe, you have no access to the full systems of the Thunderhead. You can't talk to the Thunderhead doesn't talk to you, and you don't have access to all of the amenities that that regular people do. And so that's kind of like the basic setting and world building of the series. And now in the present 2300 or later of the series, where Scythe takes place, we are focused on two main characters. We have two point of view characters. We have Rowan and we have Citra, and they're both like teenagers in like a high school, and they don't know each other, but independently of each other, they both have an encounter with a Scythe named Scythe Faraday, who they both encounter him while he is out on his way to glean someone. And both of them, in each situation, impress Scythe Faraday in different ways. And he sees in both of them the potential to become Scythes. So he decides to take on both of them as apprentices and kind of like have them compete against each other. And whoever at the end of their apprenticeship he thinks is most fitting to be a Scythe, he'll make a Scythe. And then the other one will return to being like a normal person. And so, Rowan and Citra, they both have like their doubts about this whole situation, about whether or not they should be Scythes or whether they would be good Scythes. But ultimately, they both decide to join Scythe Faraday as his apprentices. And Citra is, they're both like very intelligent characters. Like Rowan is like very good at like comforting people as like as they're dying or being chosen to be gleaned. And Citra is like very intelligent, very like calculating, and like is able to like see through a lot of the details of other people. So they both have like their strengths, and as the story goes along, we get to see more about how after centuries of humanity being immortal, how that has affected society, how that has affected people, the culture, like history and art, and the Scythedom itself, which is supposed to be held to like a higher moral standard, how inevitably like a human-ran organization has kind of like devolved and become rotten with politics and power grabbing. And emblematic of this is like kind of the antagonistic character of this book, who is Scythe Goddard. And the best way I can describe Scythe Goddard is basically if you took Gilderoy Lockhart from Chamber of Secrets from the Harry Potter series and made him like an actually competent character. So he is like an antagonist that is all about kind of like his own fame and projecting his own image. But he actually knows what he's doing and has like the power and means to like push his agenda forward. And so he represents like these kind of like New Order Scythes that feel like there shouldn't be like a limit to how many people they can glean, and the Scythes are like above other people, and they shouldn't have any restrictions on what they can and can't do. And so Rowan and Citra, as they're trying to get through their apprenticeship and become full Scythes, they have to deal with this seemingly fracturing society and the fracturing of the Scythedom as things go along. But yeah, that's pretty much what the book is about. I can't really get more into details about it without really spoiling anything, but I had a really good time with this book. I didn't like it as much as I did when I was younger and I read it. I say younger, but I guess it has been around 10 years since I first read this book. I have been having the issue where, well, not really issue, I guess it is an evolution of what I like, where a lot of the young adult stuff that I've tried to go back to, I don't enjoy it at all, or I don't enjoy it as much as I did. And the same thing with this. Like, when I was younger, I thought this was amazing. Now I think it's solid. I think it's still good, but not any more than good. So for my score, I would give this 3.5 stars, which is a good book on my scale. So 3.5 stars out of 5. And so, yeah, I definitely plan to continue with the rest of the books. I don't know when. I don't know. I've been scheduling out my book reading, but definitely I do, like I said at the top of this, I want to try to get through the whole Arc of the Scythe books this year in preparation for the new prequel book coming out in December. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on the book, please comment down below. Or if you have any thoughts about Neal Shusterman as a writer. The only other thing of his that I've read outside of this series was I tried Unwind, and it wasn't bad, but it was just I couldn't really get into it. I don't know if it's because of like the whole premise of Unwind made me feel uncomfortable or what. But I couldn't really get into that series. But other than that, I haven't read a whole lot of books by him. So if you have any thoughts about Neal Shusterman or the series, comment down below. And if you could, like this video and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, have a good day.